Hi team, Coach Alexa here. Today I wanted to talk about training diaries. So this might be an actual written training diary. I was inspired a few years ago to talk more openly about my paper-based training diary technique when I saw a social media post from Eliud Kipchoge, stack of previous training diaries announcing that he was just starting a new one because his previous one was full. And it did make me think, well, if it works for him, it's probably going to be useful for the rest of us, isn't it? And it got me thinking recently about, taking things a little bit back to basics with our running and getting the basics right. Because I do have a personality tendency, and I think many runners do, to get quite obsessed into the metrics and the detail and the numbers and the heart rate and the pace and, all of this sort of stuff. And of course, that is really, really useful information, but it doesn't tell us the whole picture. And I think as runners, it's quite easy for us to get tempted down that rabbit hole of being very numbers focused, because let's face it, unless you're doing lots of sort of trail running on really technical sort of downhills, etc., running is not a massively skill-based sport. It's quite easy to define in the numbers that we get from our watch, define our success, our progress, our performance in numbers, isn't it? But actually, we're far, far more complicated creatures than that. And with all the runners that I work with, running is just one part of their overall life. They have households, relationships, families, work, commitments, responsibilities, social lives, all sorts of other stuff that goes on, and that impacts their running, and their running will impact that. So it's useful for me as a coach to get a bit of an idea about all of that other stuff. And how the running interplay with running is going on. If you've got a house move that's completing in 3 weeks' time, probably not the best time for me to be giving you a really high mileage training week. If your company has a financial year end and you've got sales targets to hit or accounts that need completing, again, not a great time perhaps to be kind of really pushing on with training. So that context is really, really useful. And when I get the runners that I work with on an ongoing basis to complete online shared training diaries that I can see, I say I get more useful information from that diary style write-up than I do from the stats that are collected by their watch. So that might be things like, how did the run feel? Before, during, after, whilst you were warming up, once you got into it, what did you feel the impact of the weather was? Did you fuel before or during that run? How did that go? Was it fun? Were you enjoying it? Did you feel absolutely pooped at the end of the run, or did you have plenty still left in the tank? What was the weather like? Is it a warm week like it is this week? What was the impact on you from that? So I get a lot more, as I say, context and useful information from those kind of updates. And I think it also helps us to build a sense that we're not robots, we are humans, we're complicated and, let's face it, unpredictable creatures. It's pretty much impossible to definitively say exactly how we're going to react to a given workout or a given training plan or program. So sometimes it helps us to understand why there is that natural and unpredictable variability in our response to training and in our progress. So one to think about, one to experiment with if you've not kept a written training diary, if you've not thought about all of those aspects that are impacting your runs and how your runs feel and go outside of just what you're recording on your watch, give it a try, because I think it really does add a lot more useful information and context to how our runs go, and it really helps us to learn a little bit more about ourselves and how to tailor our training better for each individual. For me, each individual that I coach, I really get that extra information that I need to truly individualize a program from that diary. And as an individual runner, you can do learn a lot about yourself by doing it too. I hope that's useful.